Hey everybody, welcome to Caroline's Closet. This is episode 1 of my new via trading pallet liquidation project. If you're expecting to see an amazing pallet of goods today, that's gonna come in a couple days because I don't have the pallet yet. But I wanted to do this introductory video talking about what I plan to do and what I'm expecting to get, and start this project off so that once the pallets do arrive, I can just tear into them, show you guys all the stuff that I get, and move on without really having to explain what's going on. So I was going to start this last week and announce it, but there were some issues with the ordering process, and then I got overcharged and I was waiting for a response. I finally got the response this morning. They did fix everything and I got a refund for the overcharges, and I just wanted to resolve all the issues before I said anything about them on social media, because I don't really like calling out companies for poor service or issues if they work to resolve them. So they did, and I'm very happy. And I am expecting my pallets to arrive sometime. So the pickup happened Friday afternoon is when I got the tracking from the trucking company, and it initially said 4 days, but I didn't know if that was 4 days, like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and it would be arriving today, or 4 business days, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I'm gonna get it Thursday. So the tracking didn't give me any information other than that it was picked up. It didn't even show it in transit or anything. And I have my daughter's spring concert tomorrow afternoon, and I'm planning on a mini little road trip to go help clear out my sister-in-law's stuff before she moves on Friday. So I kind of wanted to know when these pallets are supposed to arrive. So I did contact the trucking company this morning and asked if there's just a way to get a general date, or even better, a time frame, a window. I'm imagining they want people to be here to sign for the pallets when they drop them off. They wrote back and said that at this moment in time the pallets were on the consolidation truck at the origin facility, so they're not even trucking across the country yet. So I don't know when I get my pallets now, but it said check back for the tracking tomorrow. I don't know if it'll just say it's in transit or if it'll hopefully give me a projection date. But so yeah, I don't know when I'm getting my pallets, but I have been wanting to do this for a long time, and I just could never pull the trigger. And I kept telling myself I want to wait until I have money before I spend money on such big purchases. And then things kept hitting and hitting and hitting, and now I'm much farther in debt than I ever was before, with having to replace a septic system unexpectedly and a raccoon ripping a hole in the roof. So it seems to be better for me, I think, to just plunge and make the expense in order to hopefully pay off all of the other expenses. So that's my plan. I am either going to do this as a 3-month project with weekly updates, or a 1-year project with weekly updates, and that all depends on how those first 3 months go. If I make zilch and barely anything off of these first 2 pallets, I'm done, I'll move on. I can make plenty with just my thrifting and wholesale and the other things I've been doing. But I'm hoping that within 3 months time I can double my investment from these 2 pallets, if not more. Purchase another 2 pallets, if not more, plus use the other half of the money to pay down some of the debt I've incurred recently, and every time I double my money I plan to order more. So that's the plan, and let's see what I've got coming. Okay, so first pay attention to the customer since September 25th, 2013. That is when I started my Via Trading account. That's when I opened it and first started looking through their pallets and manifests and debating on whether or not I wanted to try liquidation. So if you think I'm jumping into something all of a sudden, that's just about 6 years worth of hanging on the edge, deciding whether or not I wanted to do this. And in all fairness, 6 years ago, there was no place for me to ever put a pallet. A year ago, there was no place for me to put a pallet. I now have an eBay facility that I can unload and process pallets and have the space to work with. So it made sense for me to wait. But I have been on and off since September 2013 looking at this site, looking through manifests, drooling over some pallets, and wanting to try it out. So here we go. We're at it. So I bought 2 pallets of manifested houseware goods. One of the pallets is almost 50% manifested, and the other one was only 90-some% manifested, and the rest is all up in the air. My total cost, I paid with the shipping, $3,353.79. There were some issues. I had a case pack, a master case of some Num Noms lip gloss for kids added on. They were out of that, so I exchanged it for a L'Oreal makeup case just to replace that. I had to pay a little extra for that, but then there was an issue with how much they had charged for shipping. They had undercharged, so instead of paying any more, I just had them cancel the L'Oreal palette and refund the money. But the palettes I purchased were 20% off. I'd been watching them for a while. I'm guessing they didn't sell right away because they were not fully manifested, and it is a little bigger of a risk. But I did get them for 20% off, which makes a huge difference when you're talking about numbers in the thousands. I would have been paying almost $4,000 just for the pallets. Got an $800 discount there, and then another 5% off. And that was actually just because I had left the pallets in my cart, and they sent me a message saying, here's an extra 5% off to complete your purchase. So I was going to complete it without that, but hey, I am not going to turn down another $158 off. And then to ship the 2 pallets from Los Angeles to the Midwest, $337.88. Okay, so that's how much I spent. There are 377 total items between the 2 pallets. Like I said, one of the pallets, barely any of it was manifested. The other one, almost half of it was manifested. The items that were manifested are great. I'm talking about espresso machines, soda stream machines, some Pyrex sets, some Corningware sets, all sorts of kitchen stuff, all sorts of kitchen. There's even a Dyson vacuum manifested on one, and I know even used you cannot get a cheap Dyson vacuum. So based on just the goods that were manifested, assuming that they're mostly in sellable condition, most of them sold for pretty decent rates, even used. So once I look through them all, hopefully a decent amount of them will still be new in box. These are all customer returns, or there is a mix of some shelf pulls, I think, in the lot. And some of the manifested items had multiples, like there were 6 each of 3 different colors of SodaStream machines. I'm willing to bet those aren't customer returns because it's just highly unlikely that 6 each of 3 different colors happen to return their units. So either they're massively defective and everybody's returning them, or they were just shelf pulls brand new in the box. And those were selling on Amazon, and I was ungated on them for full retail, about $99 each. So even if just those 18 items can sell for full retail of $99, that makes back over half of what I spent. So I did a bunch of breaking down the math, and I kept having to redo it because I kept having a different total to work with. But essentially, $377, I'm paying $8.90 a piece. They estimate that their unmanifested items, which are the majority, were about $52 in retail value. Now, the way I understand it, that estimate is from the company that sent them back. They essentially throw all their return goods on pallets and say, here, we're sending you 10,000 items, and it's a retail value of $50,000. And so they can say, okay, well, that's about $50 each for every item that's included. Anything that is scannable ends up on the manifest, anything that is not scannable for any reason, whether it's out of a box, whether the UPC is damaged, maybe some people cut the UPC out to send in to get a rebate or something, and then I don't know why it would still be returned, but I don't know. If it's out of the box, if there's no UPC, maybe it's some goods that just have like a tag attached and the tags get ripped off. Some companies might draw through the UPC so the items can't be returned, which in turn also makes it impossible to scan them. So any of those things could be the case for the items not on the manifest. But if, oh, and then I was told to expect between 10 and 15% of goods on customer return lots to probably not be sellable. So I am, if I take 20% out, that's about 75 items. So if I say I have 300 sellable items, and I can sell all 300 of those items for $25, which is less than half of what their guesstimated retail value is. So maybe some are used, some just don't sell for the full retail, whatever the case may be. That still gives me $7,500. If I take another 20% off of that for various fees, whether it's eBay and PayPal fees combined with some promoted listing fees maybe, or FBA fees combined with my shipping expenses to get it to FBA, whatever. If I take out about 20% in fees, that leaves me with $6,000. $6,000 is low for what I want, but really I'm just wanting to double my money. Doubling my money is only about $6,700, and I am estimating pretty low to get that $6,000. So my goal is to double my money within 3 months, or come pretty close to doubling my money within 3 months, so that I can turn around. Half that money is going to go to pay down the debt that I've recently incurred, not just for purchasing the pallets, but for getting a whole new septic system, a whole new roof, van repairs, all sorts of stuff has just put me behind for the year. And this is my answer to get out of it. But yeah, if you've received customer return lots before and want to comment and let me know how you did, or if you think doubling my money on such an investment is not likely, I don't think it's very unreasonable to expect. Some of the items obviously may not have parts to them, may not have owner's manuals. We'll double check, triple check everything. I'm recruiting my husband and maybe even my 7-year-old to help process all 377 items, see what we get, and check the conditions. A lot of the things on the manifest I was open to send to Amazon FBA, so that is going to be my plan for anything that can be sent to FBA. Just one less thing for me to deal with on a day-to-day basis once I get it out of here, and hopefully that'll give me a little kickstart to start flipping the stuff. Anything else I'll probably sell locally or on eBay or Mercari. There were some cheap things on the manifest, like some stationary desk sets that were going for about $20, $25 retail, but when I looked them up, they were still selling for pretty close to full retail, you know, maybe including the shipping or something, but it didn't look like it was going to be that big of a loss. So I paid $8.90 a piece for the 377 items. I mean, if they all sold for $20 plus shipping, if I could sell everything and it all sold for $20 plus shipping, I'm gonna double my money. So I don't think I'm at too big of a risk, but I am definitely very nervous as a liquidation pallet virgin. So I hope you guys subscribe and stay tuned, because sometime, I'm guessing hopefully this week, but I'm also hoping not Friday, and if the truck hasn't left yet, see, now I feel like it's either going to be Friday or it's not going to be until next week. Maybe they deliver on the weekends. I don't know. I'm hoping it's at 4 days though, and so this is going to be beyond the 4th day. But yeah, I will update as soon as the pallets come. It will either be 1 unboxing, unpalleting video, or 2, depending on how long it takes me to clear a pallet. I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of duplicate items. I'm kind of hoping there's a lot of duplicate items, especially the good items. But yeah, that's what I've got going on. That is the start of my liquidation pallet. Once I get them and show off all the goods, then I will process them all and figure out what I'm doing and what I actually expect to make, and I will do an update video there. And then I will do an update video periodically as the stuff sells to let you know how much I'm actually making from this $3,353 investment. And yeah, as soon as I've doubled my money, then I will get some more, hopefully. And if this doesn't work out, they obviously have a ton of other different types of categories and types of merchandise, but this one seemed like it was all higher end stuff and all stuff that was still marketable. So wish me luck, and hopefully I will have those pallets very soon and get to show them off, because I'm a little nervous and anxious and I just really want to do it. So thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and be sure to come back for episode 2 of my Via Trading pallet project to be shown as soon as I have pallets to show. Bye everybody.